How's it going, everyone? And as always, welcome back to Continues to Tick. So friends, if someone asked you, what is dividend investing? How would you begin to explain it? What would you say to them? Would you possibly give the listener a generic investing response, explaining something along the lines of what Warren Buffett has said about the stock market, that dividend investing may just be another form of an investing strategy, a device for transferring money from the inpatient to the patient? Or would you possibly go a little deeper, maybe saying something along the lines even of making sure to point out it's a passive income method, although a bit slower than real estate, for example, or building a business model, a very hands-off approach, if you will, explaining that even in a down market, with this method, if done appropriately, you still get paid money in the form of dividends, trying to convince the listener that dividend investing ultimately is like a wedged bet against time, and therefore can be seen as a primary defensive play. Maybe you would also explain the DRIP, the dividend reinvestment plan, sharing with those that ask that not only do you get paid dividends, but by holding the dividend stocks, if you then reinvest those payouts over time back into your portfolio, the rate in which your portfolio increases becomes exponential. Explaining the image comparison of a snowball falling down the hillside of a snow-capped mountain, momentum increasing as it begins to roll faster and faster, gaining more and more snow, increasing in size, no longer needing energy to be pushed, but rather instead now creating energy to be provided. That energy provided coming then in the form of how you see it: financial security or safety, dividend payouts, or even an earlier retirement. And well, to all these responses, I would say, good. But I will say this, friends, as dividend investing is such a long play, this aspect cannot be ignored, and I'd want the listener to primarily understand the concept that this process surpasses simply that of just finances and monetary value. It's a form of expression. It's a form of understanding that some things in this life that are worthwhile simply take time, and because of that, take patience. Ask a dividend investor, for example, when they see their portfolio becoming successful or worthwhile. And yes, it depends on where they may be on their journey at that time, but a majority would say in the future, probably after 10 to 20 years or more. But simply put, a majority would also say, not yet, or not now, but in the future. The seasoned dividend investors would stress this and would let you know that dividend investing takes time and lots of it, but that it works. And just as time is undefeated, as long as one invests into blue chip, time-tested companies and diversifies, the chances of striking center are quite high, as a dividend portfolio works best in closest alignment with the positive aspects of time. But if someone was to directly ask, Jesse, what is dividend investing? I'd think about it carefully, but I'd try to avoid diving fully into what it is exactly, and instead spend the majority of time explaining what it can do for you, because the answer of what it is exactly doesn't change. From my vantage point, dividend investing is a conservative and defensive investing strategy for those with the most patience, wanting the most out of time. It's a strategy that happens primarily in the background, with less effort once started, which allows more time in our day-to-day to focus on other avenues, which are most important to us in our lives. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme, but neither do those that do it seek that return. To like dividend investing, one must like the progress of the pursuit of a stable and systematic build, the journey of watching a large project unfold over time. Enjoy the satisfaction of a long journey, not a short one. To dividend invest is to meticulously set a financial foundation, as solid as they come, one that allows the building of the rest of life and all its events on top of it. But as explained, it takes time, which most people aren't willing to invest. But dividend investors don't rush things. They understand the value and the slow and steady. But that's what dividend investing is. But what I care about mostly is what it has done for me and what it can do for you. And I'd start with this idea, that success lies behind multiple layers of inconveniences. And guess what? The success of a dividend portfolio really brings this to surface. Because you see, the same reasons you want to give up dividend investing are similar to the same reasons you actually give up on many other aspects of the things we want in life, but never achieve. We don't see results, we stop. We don't see the value behind our work, we stop. We don't see the outcomes we desire in a short period of time, and we stop. Don't stop. Don't get discouraged. What I've learned through dividend investing is that if I set up my day-to-day plan to align with the outcome of $1 million plus portfolio, I will achieve it. This means I spend frugally now. I work on increasing my income. I invest systematically. I invest consistently. I don't stop this plan until I see it through. And I know this is the blueprint to this outcome I desire. You know how I know? Because it took 2 years to see it, but I now see glimpses of this in my portfolio today. It just took a while to get here. And I could say the same for my YouTube channel. Same pattern. I'm doing the same for my physique. Same pattern. I'm seeing the results. So I know it works. And because of this, I know it can work for you. Because the craziest part of this is that I'm now beginning to see these habits also rub onto my partner. Because when you learn to master yourself, or at least engage in the pursuit to, it rubs off on those around you. Because without fail, your own personal weaknesses will always be other people's way out. Because how can you say something and not even live it yourself? I'd say the majority of us, unfortunately, aren't in positions to give advice, but we do so anyhow. But man, it's all a challenge. And that's partially why dividend investing is so difficult, and why life is so difficult. It's much easier to spend our money now and enjoy it now, rather than invest. It's much more enjoyable to be less disciplined with our diet now and our free time now, rather than work towards our goals today that we know we want down the line. But the point to this is we all want, and what it comes down to is this: what would you rather? For me, I'd rather feel the pain of discipline today than the pain of regret and disappointment tomorrow. And just like that, let's take this pause to say, if you've enjoyed this journey, to hit the like button and subscribe. We are now in July, folks. Crazy to imagine, but we are now heading past the midway mark of the year. And yes, happy 4th of July today. And make sure to be safe. It's interesting, they don't actually allow fireworks where I live. But it's funny how that actually makes people want to buy even more fireworks somehow. And just like that, once again, we've reached the Jesse's Cash Flow Portfolio, which is my dividend portfolio, which I've started on July 20th of the year 2020. And I'll probably make a 2-year update video up here pretty soon. But the journey continues, hasn't stopped. We continue to be systematic, but currently we sit at $55,515.60, and this is with the total return of the portfolio of 14.59%, which equates to a total portfolio gain of $3,743.85. And if you look a little closer here, for market gain alone, it's $2,049, and from earned dividends, we're getting closer and closer to the $1,700 mark, just about $6 short. And once again, we see red for the past week, but relatively flat, I would say. So I'll take it. If it has to be a red week, I'll take a flat one. With the negative loss of the portfolio of 0.22%, which equated to a total loss of the portfolio of $119.79. And when it comes to dividend activity, dividend payouts, this is what it's all about. This is the whole point of a portfolio such as this one, as compared to just a strictly growth play. But in saying that, here we are starting this last week's dividend payouts, actually with a funnel of $30.18 on June 27th. And then on the next day, on June 29th, you can see we had our $500 deposit, just like we always do, followed by our funnel, which wasn't quite a snowball, but we did have a $30 snowball on the 27th. So regardless, we still had one this past week. And then on June 30th, getting paid by Digital Realty Trust, $12.64. Also on the same day, getting paid by Pepsi, $8. And then on July 1st, getting paid by CTBI, 38 cents. And if you look a little further, also up here getting paid by CTBI of $12.40, as you can see up there. And then also on the same day, we got paid by MDU, $5.25. And then also getting paid by NVIDIA, 37 cents. And last but not least, getting paid by UGI, $6.45. And that's going to be it for this week's video. As I mentioned earlier, we're now approaching the 2-year mark for this dividend portfolio. On July 20th of 2020 is when I started this. So July 20th, that'll now be 2 years systematically investing into this dividend portfolio. So I'm looking forward to pushing out a video where I kind of go more in depth of the things that I've learned, the things that I'm learning, and just my overall experience as a dividend investor. It's been a fun ride, and as you could tell by the graph here, we've done pretty well until as of late. But even then, in this current rocky market, we continue to navigate these waves. But just with a little bit more ramble here, I just want to say, it's crazy to imagine we're now in July. We're now on the downhill of this year. So regardless if you're ready or not, we're going to be in December before you know it. So brace yourselves, look ahead, plan ahead. Always try to stay on top of time, because time passes regardless. All we can do is plan for it. And in saying all that, we've made it through 7 days, and because of that, we have a high chance of making it through another 7. And as always, I'll be here. And until then, as always, take care.